OpenAI CEO Sam Altman says remote work was a big mistake for tech. Okay, these are the balls on this guy. Okay, I've not read this. I want to read this. While seemingly every tech company is attempting to chase the artificial intelligence dragon that Sam Altman and OpenAI wrought. Altman is, I love heroin jokes, by the way. Heroin jokes are my favorite. Altman is joining the old-fashioned chorus of anti-remote work tech CEOs with one of the strongest statements against it. All right. Altman, the chief executive of San Francisco-based OpenAI. You gotta mention it's San Francisco. By the way, it's San Francisco, home of the tech, by the way, if you didn't know it, by the way. Opined against the experiment of remote work for staff creativity at a talk hosted by the financial tech giant Stripe. It was first reported by Fortune Friday. I think definitely, what kind of voice does Sam have? I think definitely one of the tech industry's worst mistake in a long time was that everybody could go full remote forever. And startups didn't need to be together in person. And, there was going to be no less of creativity. Did I do a good job? I think I did a good job. I think I nailed it. Anyways, let's see. I would say that the experiment on that is over, and the technology is not yet good enough that people can be full remote forever, particularly on startups. In a 2019 podcast, when economist Tyler Cohen, Altman did express his contempt for co-working spaces, which begs the question: where does he think startups should meet if they need to meet in person? That's actually kind of a funny thing. He doesn't like remote work, and he doesn't like co-working spaces. I just want everyone in a cube, far away from each other, but together. So just in case I need to bring them together. I'm curious about this whole thing because I'm not fully convinced creativity is gone. I think creativity is not the right term. I would say team cohesiveness, buy-in on the team, ability to enjoy and kind of find more satisfaction from your job, I think really does hurt in remote work, but that's kind of the trade-off you're making. You're intentionally saying, I want to find less satisfaction in my job and more satisfaction in something else. I think that's kind of the statement. So I'm curious. I don't think you could ever measure this, but what is a person's buy-in at a company based on whether they're in the company, in a location versus remote? Is there a more committed person, if you will? In person versus not in person. I don't know. But this whole creativity thing, I think creativity has a lot of factors. And one of them is being in a space that you feel creative. And sometimes that's just the ability to talk to somebody else, which is really, really important. And to just say your ideas out loud, which changes your perspective. But second, I think that sometimes just being away from people is also where you do very creative work. So I know he emphasizes the startups, but again, I don't buy any of this, right? I just simply don't buy any of this. And so I'm saying that I don't think you can measure this axis on remote, non-remote. I think you can measure a lot of things on remote, non-remote. I think team cohesiveness would be probably the biggest one. Chad Jippity wrote this. Okay. This isn't the first time Altman has made his feelings about remote work known, saying that the companies who rushed to full remote permanently made a big mistake in a January tweet. That said, he even has expectations, making the caveat that some of OpenAI's best people are remote in the following up response. Okay, so again, maybe, just maybe, I know this is going to be one of those problems that people just hate hearing. Maybe some people are better in remote and some people are better in office. Maybe some people don't want to live in shitty San Francisco and some people do. And when you force them to live in San Francisco, maybe they don't perform as well because they hate the location they live. And maybe, I know, $5 a month, people. Maybe in the hills of South Dakota, some of us think better than we did in the bourbon sprawl of San Jose. I'm just saying, okay? I'm just saying. Honestly, I'm probably this video will probably get demonetized on YouTube. I mean, this take where we should respect people for who they are kind of takes, man, this is not an opinion YouTube shares. Jeez. He is also not the first to bang the drum against working from home. Please tell me Reed Hastings. Let me get the Reed Hastings one in here. Even if he is among the most zealous, Salesforce CEO Mark Benioff, once an ardent supporter of his employees' ability to work remotely, suggested in January that employees hired during the pandemic are facing much lower productivity because of the company's office policy. Dude, that is such, I mean, please, dude, take right there. Please. You cannot possibly measure employee performance against pandemic hired employees, right? They're like the world, the experience, what people are going through is vastly different between the two. It just feels like remember when you were hiring before COVID, you actually had the pick of whatever you wanted. There's a lot of people in there. There was a lot of positions. And so you got to really be particular about what you wanted. And then COVID hit. Everyone started using the internet. Money was going way up. Government was handing out checks. Money was spent like wild on Amazon. More money than they've ever made was during that time. And all of a sudden, people needed to hire like wild. So they just didn't even have like the filtering mechanism was so much different during that time than beforehand. And to just like remotely compare the two is just bogus. Compare productivity during 9/11. I'm sure it went down. Yeah, I'm sure when you have horrible human things, productivity at a job might be affected. Ridiculous. Meta CEO Mark now does BJJ Zuckerberg. And dude, imagine having to go on the mat with Mark Zuckerberg and getting pinned by Mark Zuckerberg. Like, just imagine Mark Zuck BJJ. Just imagine that you're in there and you are this guy right here. You're getting pwned by Mark Zuckerberg. Like, you're getting full lizard human. Like, not only did you just get defeated by a guy that's most certainly either a lizard or a robot, but like a billion people are going to watch you get owned. You know what I mean? Ugh, that has to hurt. That has to hurt. It has to hurt. Because you know what? I don't know about all the pinnings that happen at all in BJJ. I don't even care. But when you're telling me that Mark Zuck takes you to the ground, you know I'm looking at that photo. Lizard strength is greater than human strength? Probably. Yeah. It sucks. All right, here we go. Suggesting that remote start employees were worse off than their in-office counterparts. Now, that is an interesting take. This is something I could believe. That if you start off remote, your ability to become integrated, know your team, and get up to speed is probably hampered more than if you were not remote to begin with. I can buy that take because you're in office and you can just like walk around, going to person, asking questions. That's a buyable take. Into a notice of laying off 10,000 workers in March. Recently joining this list is newly appointed CEO of Lyft, David Risher, who in April reported switched the company's flexible work policy into a mandated 3 days a week in the office. Among those cheering on his call to return to work was San Francisco Supervisor Matt Dorsey, whose District 6 includes Mid-Market, Soma, and Mission Bay. Okay, so if you're talking about anyone that's running San Francisco, of course they are. Do you realize how desperate California is for taxes? Like, when you make someone work in office, that means they have to pay state taxes, okay? I'm just saying, you want to tell me, like, I live in South Dakota. I don't pay California taxes. I don't give California a dime. You know why? Because I don't live in California. In-person collaboration helps create vibrant workplaces and vibrant urban neighborhoods. What a politician. This is, I don't even know if this guy's a politician or not, but this guy's a politician, okay? This guy is a politician. I don't want to live in an urban neighborhood. Perhaps some of us don't want to be there. Ridiculous. Thanking Altman for his influential thought leadership on the matter. What a tool bag. I do like, so the one big takeaway, though, which I think is a really great takeaway, which we should have, is this right here. I really do think in-office interactions are the best way to get to know the people on your team, to get to know people, no matter how much you feel about interactions, no matter how introvert you think you are, which everybody's an introvert these days, I swear. Interacting with people, there is just no replacement. I do not believe that there's going to be a VR replacement anytime in the next 10, 20 years that could actually mimic all the things you need. Maybe in 20 years. I could be wrong in 20 years, but I'm just like, I just doubt it so hard. You know what I mean? Like, the amount of communication that happens in an office, the amount of communication that just happens with how you move your hands, how you position your body, how your tone of voice comes out, you just like, it just doesn't, you can't get it. And on a call, you can't really get it. Here's most of the phone calls that happen. Okay, here you go. Here's most of the phone calls. This is pretty much, this describes most of, okay, where are you? Is this it? No, this is not it. What about this one? This is pretty much every single phone call that I get. They're always like, hey, is this Prime? Hey, Prime, I was wondering if, hold on. One second. Hey, hold on. Okay, hey, I was wondering if you happen to have... Hold on. That's it. That's what that is remote work in a nutshell. I don't even know if I got this right. I may be screwing this up. I probably shouldn't have done that because now I have to figure out, did I get this right? I don't even know if I got this right. It's close enough. You see a lot of waste now. Ooh. I never had that happen. Oh, man, I get so many of those. People will, like, open up their laptop and, like, half their face is in it and the other half is just, like, of a shade. And then their voice is constantly just like, you know, their voice is like, hey, I was just going down and, I was just wondering if you happen to have the time to look for, you're just like, what the hell are you saying? Your microphone's cutting out 80% of the time. Why are you speaking into a can of tuna? Connected to a string, connected to a USB. What the hell is happening here? Oh, hold on. What was that? Like, AirPods! Dude, I hate it. It's not cool. Anyways, the name is the Prime Engine. I have to pee so bad. Oh my goodness.